Welcome back to Bell Rock. If you'll follow me. I'd like you to meet Elizabeth Lamson. Here lies ye body of Elizabeth, ye wife of Joseph Lamson, aged 45 years, deceased June 10th, 1703. Elizabeth Lamson was the first wife of the great stonecutter Joseph Lamson. Elizabeth and Joseph were married when Joseph was 22 and Elizabeth was 21. They were married in Charlestown in December of 1679, just a couple years after Joseph Lamson's service in King Philip's War. Joseph Lamson dies 20 years after his wife and was likely in Charlestown when he died because he's buried in Phipps Street Burying Ground. And in the 17th and early 18th centuries, bodies were buried in the town where they died. But there are a couple interesting details about Elizabeth's headstone and its location within Bell Rock. When Elizabeth Lamson died in 1703, the only headstones in this area were the Lynde family, who had died 15 years earlier, but most of this space was actually quite empty. In the years after Elizabeth Lamson's death, the surrounding headstones are dominated by the Mitchell family. Mitchell was Elizabeth Lamson's maiden name. So at first glance, it looks like her husband Joseph put her among other Mitchells, when in fact, if you track the dates, Elizabeth was here first, and the Mitchells chose to be buried around her. The first members of the Mitchell family to be buried near Elizabeth Lamson were her nieces and nephews. Her brother John Mitchell and his wife Elizabeth chose to bury their children in Bell Rock near their Aunt Elizabeth. And when John Mitchell died in 1717, he chose to be buried near his children. And then children who died after him were buried near him. So what now looks to be the Mitchell family plot in Bell Rock Cemetery was actually centered around their beloved sister, Elizabeth Lamson. But now we quickly have to talk about her headstone. Her husband was the greatest stonecutter of his time, and she got a beautiful but very small stone. How small is this stone, you may ask? Well, that's my Owala. So Joseph Lamson might have cheaped out on his wife's headstone. And that's Elizabeth Mitchell Lamson. See you tomorrow.